Chris, last Tennessee game, there's 13 minutes to go, and you guys are down by 2. Obviously, Tennessee controlled those final 13 minutes. Have you watched just that stretch in preparing for this game to find out what not to do?
Not really, but I remember it. We was locked in. We just had 2 mental breakdown on defense and allowed them to go up, like make 2 3-point, and off that they went off, and like the team just went down south. So it just question was like being solid and avoiding those mistakes again, and I try to finish off the game solid.
But is there a sense of confidence you guys can draw from that performance against Tennessee? I mean, you were right there till about that 13-minute mark in the second half. So does that help going into this contest, knowing that you guys kind of know what it takes to go against this Vols team and come out with a win?
Yeah, definitely. They kind of play like us, so all we got is like playing against us. But we know they're more like experienced on what they're doing, and they execute well, and they make few mistakes on executing and on the defense. They really like try to be physical and like have their hands on every rebound. So it's basically just doing what we did last time, but try to be more aggressive and more physical.
Chris, you know, you get these early wins in the first half of the conference schedule. You win 7 out of the first 10. You know, I know you guys don't look, especially you know, you've been through this before. You don't really look at like the numbers to get into the NCAA tournament. But I'm wondering how much pressure that kind of takes off of you now that you guys have already gotten to like 7 wins and you still have 8 more conference games left to play.
It takes a lot of pressure. You know, you don't want to start like last year where we started off on a bad start, and at the end of the conference game where we got like 3 or like 5 games left, try to grind it out. You want to be in a peaceful mind at this situation. So at least you know you play with a free mind, and it don't mean that we don't take those games seriously. It just like put you in a good place.
Chris, obviously nowadays and probably the last 3 seasons, rarely have you probably felt like another team, another player was more physical than you. You felt pretty comfortable matching your physicality with them. Was it ever that way as a freshman? And I ask that because obviously Keyshawn in this matchup with Emir Schofield is tough on a freshman and a guy that size. What do you remember about having to deal with that when you were young and maybe not as physically developed? And what does he have to do differently to help out there? Because a lot of times it's just kind of a lose-lose because of how physical he can't be.
I mean, I remember when I was a freshman, I always was competing with the Mandy and all that. I wasn't weak, but it was like a lose-lose situation because they were strong lifting with Scott, and whenever I try to be strong, they would outsmart me because they know the system. So it's basically knowing the system. Like multiple times at the end of the game, we told Keyshawn to not let this guy catch the ball, because we know when they run a certain play, they're trying to post up the freshman, and we told them to stay on line. So if you stay on line, they're going to try to, with the pressure on the ball, they're going to try to throw a lob pass. And usually Grant is on the other side or on the elbow. So if they throw that lob pass, I would be able to help him. But multiple times he was like, when Schofield was cutting, he was finding himself behind Schofield, which allowed Schofield to make a play right away and catch the ball right in the paint. So it's stuff like that as a freshman that I was making, that the older guys was yelling at me, trying to make me understand that this is how you gotta play in this time of the games, or they're gonna take advantage of you. That I couldn't figure it out. Now that I'm in this spot, I try to tell them the same thing.
So you can make up for that lack of physicality with basically with homework.
Practicing. We're gonna run. We watching film, so we're gonna do this stuff in practice and like emphasize the stuff that we missed last game and try to fix it.
Chris, you've been in the SEC now, obviously, for quite some time. I'm curious as to where the talent you faced this year compares to years in the past? How good is the SEC this year to maybe last year or some in years prior when you've had to go against some guys?
Man, it's just getting better and better. You know, like a lot of players want to play in the SEC now because of how hard the schedule is, how many good players come here, and like how many good teams are in the SEC. So it just got better and better.
Anything else?
Chris, have you noticed, and maybe you haven't at all, maybe it's still the same, but have you noticed with Keyshawn and AJ's emergence and their presence on the perimeter, even Hassani's threat because he's shooting better, that teams have lightened up a little bit on you with the double teams and stuff like that, or is it still pretty much the same?
I mean, when they be aggressive and effective in the perimeter, the team forget that I'm a little bit that I'm there until I try to make my appearance. But like that's part of the game. I can't just like do everything by myself. If I do everything by myself, they gonna like release the pressure off the guards and try to compress me. But when they kind of effective or like they're a threat to the other team, they're gonna try to relax and try to be smart on whatever they need to double team me or whatever they need to do to like contain me.
After you, who are you most, well, I don't want to phrase this by calling somebody out, but who are you most confident in a rebound situation? If you're off the floor and you're watching this and, you know, the ball's out there, are there guys out there that you say, okay, that guy can get a rebound? And how sometimes frustrating is that when you're off the floor and that rebound number isn't what you like it?
I mean, I believe Mike be going to the rebound, but I believe in Key. Key, like, he really, like, aggressive and, like, regarding rebounds. And, I mean, that's what he do because how athletic he is. He always try to either, like, try to put it back or, like come up with a defensive rebound.
Anything else for Chris? Okay, guys, thanks.
Thank you.